show on the road.
There it is.
Is this thing on?
That's a great opening. Well, hello guys. Welcome to our webinar for week 2. Right? Yeah. We do. Whatever week it is. It's a week. Yes. I guess we'll do our icebreaker activity. Do your card trick thingy for this?
Oh, we're live. All right.
Yeah, we're live, guys. So it's an icebreaker. It's just a little card trick. So there's 3 cards, right? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So the first card on top, it's a jack. I don't know if you can see that. Whatever. It's a jack. I'll put that. I'm just gonna give it to Nick. He's gonna hold it. Okay. Second card, it's another jack. Okay. I'm gonna put that there. The last card, it's a king. Put it all there. All right. So I'm gonna put the king on the bottom. Okay. But it's a jack. I lied. So on the top, keep your eye on the top card. It's a jack as well. So then the middle card has to be the king, right? But it's not. It's the jack. It's kind of hard to see. You get it. I'm gonna put that on the bottom. Okay. So we got a jack. Another card. We have a jack, and we have another jack. So I have 3 jacks. But again, I'm lying because I have a jack. So if you hold that, I have the king, but I also have an ace. So that's some voodoo. Yeah, it's voodoo. Not voodoo. That's all it is, voodoo. I made a sacrifice. So we have another icebreaker. We're doing 2 truths and a lie. Oh, right. You guys know what that is, right? Yeah. 2 truths and a lie. So I think. Okay. I broke my arm horseback riding. I broke my nose in rugby, and I used to play hockey, but I was not very good.
Broken nose.
Oh yeah, it's the rugby one. Wait,
Yeah.
2 truths and a lie. No, so the lie is 100% lie.
So which one's the lie?
The rugby. Horseback.
What?
The nose.
No, the nose is true. I did not break my arm though. My nose has a bubble now. Actually, you can feel it.
This is zoom in.
Yeah. It's literally a bubble. Because you can see as it like kind of up there. Yeah. I got kicked in the head. That's true. That's a true story. All right, Keith, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. All right. I've never broken a bone. I can play guitar. And okay. Yep.
All right. Yeah, that was a good one. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Anthony?
I worked at Costco back in the day. I can play guitar. And I just played basketball right before this webinar.
Well, you never worked at Costco.
You sure about that?
To me, it's Costco because Keith's wearing a Costco hat. So that's what Costco came from.
Yeah.
Right? Greg, you're up next, but you have to involve playing guitar.
Okay. Here are my 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I own a guitar. Number 2, I played badminton at a provincial level. And number 3, I can do the ABC backwards.
You can do what?
ABC backwards.
You can do the ABC backwards.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Badminton.
You don't play
guitar?
badminton?
No, he plays badminton.
You don't play badminton.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So the lie was I can't actually. I screw up and then over to go and then I can't.
That's no fun.
So you go.
I can go.
So I have never broken a leg. I have one brother, and my parents are not on vacation right now.
Never broken a leg.
No, that's
I'm gonna change things up, and I'm gonna say your parents are not on vacation.
there we go. That's it. They are on vacation.
He was complaining yesterday.
No, this is my fridge. Oh, so my fridge broke, and my parents are at home. So like,
So he's helping.
I had literally like I'm like homeless, but I'm at home. All right, good job, guys.
Wait, I still gotta go.
Oh yeah, Daniel.
Okay.
Daniel.
I own a bass guitar, but I can't play it. I play the trumpet, and I play the flute.
Oh boy.
I'm going.
Guitar.
You
I
don't.
want trumpet.
You don't play the flute then. No, actually,
I don't.
oh, wait.
I don't think you have a bass.
No, I don't play flute. Wait, that's the. Wait.
It's clarinet, right? It's clarinet, right?
Yeah, you're talking about it in language.
I'm sorry, Daniel. Cheated. Cheated the system. All right, Slake Lane.
All right. Sorry.
So we'll just jump into it. Our topic is differentiated teaching. So I think by now we know what it means, but it's like, you have to give different instructions based on your students and their learning abilities.
So what do you guys think it means? Like from like a teacher's perspective, like how would you like use it or how would you incorporate it into the classroom? Greg?
You really have to watch for the level of learners and their accommodations that they might need. With students, you have to really watch over that, and you have to be very observant in your first little bit because you're going to understand where students' strengths and weaknesses lie. So you really want to focus on those. You want to bring those weaknesses up, but you also know that maybe some kids don't read as well as others. So maybe you can, use simple vocabulary. Use something to modify to their ability. Right? So you want everybody to be included, but at the same point, you might have to take different instructions based on different styles.
Okay. True. Okay, so a question I have for you, like, how do you ensure that when you differentiate, like you're not like labeling the child?
You have to be really implicit about doing it. Go Daniel, sorry.
Oh yeah, you can like
Cut him off.
you can like make it so then like the tasks are different, but like it's not like you're making certain kids do certain tasks, but like you're actually getting them to like choose what they want to do, like doing the stuff that they do open-ended and stuff.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
How you could put into the classroom? I think before you have to differentiate, you should do a prior assessment check. So to ensure that you know where exactly your students are in that certain task or that certain area of mathematics.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but at some point,
You need to formally or informally determine the varying abilities of the students. So
at some point, so you're going to have certain grades that you're doing where students, they can do a pre-assessment and it won't actually go their true ability, right? So there's a lot of variation factors. It's a grade 4 and
my volume just stopped working.
you're not going to perform.
You guys check on Facebook, like I attached like a document. It's like helpful tips that we could use as teachers. You know, like go through like definitions, strategies you could use. Making sure you assess them prior to kind of determine like what kind of things you would need, and things like that. Having a big idea. I remember in class we were talking about having a big idea behind it. Like I think it's too easy to focus on like the small things, which makes it more like it's more difficult to actually like, differentiate the small things. But if you're doing a big assignment, like what's a big idea you want to get out of it, and how would you change it up for everyone? So those are the kind of things that we need to consider when we're doing this as teachers as well. All right, so we have a quick game. A little activity we're gonna start with. We have a pack of dominoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it up, baby. Yeah. We got dominoes. All right. And the trick is not the trick, but like the whole thing behind this is just as pretend we're in grade 4 right now. We're learning your numbers, addition, subtraction, multiplication. So you can a nice way to like differentiate than like having to write anything out is using things like dominoes, where they could like, all right, what's 6 plus 2? 8.
8. I thought you said 8, not Keith, for a second.
Oh, sorry. 5 plus 1, Daniel.
His mic's muted. Daniel, your mic's muted.
Yeah. It's 6. I'm trying to move classrooms right now out of the cab.
And you can like get students like do like a competition, so like it'd be me versus you kind of thing. And then as you go along, you could change it from addition to multiplication. So you'd have 6 times 2. Greg.
Good question. Well, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like this activity. My thing is, you said we're grade 4s, right?
Yep.
What if there's grade 4s who can do this well, but they can't do it quickly?
Oh, in terms of like them being able to do it?
I'm trying to play devil's advocate to kind of get the conversation moving.
Yeah.
So, say I'm a good math student, but I'm not a speed math student. I'm somebody who I need to take that time to be able to figure it out. Would that kind of that put the spotlight on when I don't need it, for example? So, I can feel embarrassed. Like, people like, oh, Greg, you don't know that? Like, but I actually do, right? I just need that.
I know you know what you mean. Yeah. You can do it different things with it. Like, if you get just like a bunch of random dominoes and you ask them to just like build on their desk like some type of whatever shape they want, really. Like, just say they make I don't know, some type of square. Like if there's another just like put it together like a square. So like something like that, you can tell them like, okay, now just multiply the corners or something. So then you'd also have you'd have 4 times 6. So like just one of those things. So it's not always speed based. You can have different tasks.
Yeah, and they can kind of pick and choose what corner they do too, right? They're like, okay, I know what this one is, right? They're not going to be intimidated by some.
Yeah. And also, I think like 2 different dominoes. Like maybe one student would do this domino, they'd answer this, and another student could answer this domino. But there's no rush. Take your time to answer this one, and then the other person can go and do this one after. You can do it that way as well too, I think.
Oh yeah.
You can even give it to them on like a sheet of paper and let them work it through it at their own time too.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. Sure. Good point. You do this as like warm-up activity, or even as at the end of the day and they're bored. All right, let's get the dominoes and do some math. There's another activity.
So it's basically the same idea. It's randomized number, and then you kind of do something with the number, right? So 7, 9, 7 and an ace, which could be 1 or 11. But it's sort of like what also Daniel did with the 4 cards. You just get them to come to a certain number, right? Or you can give them. You can do a lot of things with it. You can also just give them maybe 2 cards and then think of maybe a different number to come to, so it's not as.
Oh, not again.
You can give them the cards, or you can always choose the cards that you give them, right? So that's another way of differentiating if you don't want to make it too difficult, that type of thing. That's about it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like popping in and out. Hold on. I think our signal's going.
Is the signal? Yeah, it's kind of slow. Yeah, like lagging. Yeah.
Same Wi-Fi. We're slowing things down.
Okay. So I have another question to ask. For example, I remember I used to play soccer. Back in my day when I used to play, when I was young, we used to have this guy on the team who was colorblind, right? And I remember the coach when they told him to like pick up the green penny. He kept picking up or he pick up the orange one. He pick up the white one. Like he would pick up the green one, and the coach like literally like yelled at him and like something. What are you doing? Kind of thing. And thinking about it now, like as a teacher, like the big teachable moment where like you can't see it, you cannot tell that it's a green penny. So like, how would you guys have dealt with that situation if you had a student or player who was like colorblind or had some type of not disability, but something that was different?
Impairment?
Well, like it would help if like he had the pennies like set aside into organized into colors, and it could just like grab a penny from the left pile, for example.
Yep.
And like say, yeah, you can do that in your classes too, right? Like if you know someone can't see colors, and like ask them like for the left side of the board or the right side of the board or the upper marker, lower marker, right?
True.
That's a good point. One sec.
Okay.
Okay. With people who have those types of differences, or something going on like that, what you need to do, is you need to recognize it as a teacher. You need to let the students know that like it's a thing. Because I feel like when we don't talk about that kind of stigma, that's when people twist it and they turn it into bullying or turn it into making disadvantages. And if people aren't aware, they're gonna like they are aware, but you have to get you have to clear the elephant in the room, because in more cases than not, people will be understanding and supporting rather than use it as a tool of shame or disadvantage or make people feel inferior to each other.
It's a fine line between like pointing something out and then also addressing it. So there's like two differences there. So it's kind of like case by case basis. It can be difficult, but I know what you mean. Yeah, point. And there's also I forgot what I was going to say.
All right. So another question for you. Do you think it's easier to like differentiate in other subjects other than math?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
It's easier to like differentiate in other subjects, so like in English or like language, than it is in math. Do you think it's more difficult to do that in math?
No, because numbers are a universal language. It's not like I feel like learning math, you can modify numbers pretty easily and such. Whereas with, books and such, it's a little bit harder to stem language barriers, especially for like ELL students. I think math, it is a challenge, but it's definitely doable if you have the right tools in your classroom.
Okay, true.
Because like math is like a universal language, right? Something like that. It can be easier.
Yeah, I think it depends too on like your strengths as a teacher, right? Like if you don't really know math that well, it's gonna be a lot harder to differentiate.
That's why there's a good website that provides a lot of resources for differentiation. It's called EduGains. I used it in my placement last year. My associate teacher showed me how to use it, and it's really helpful. So that's one digital resource that is definitely handy.
Yeah, it's like such a math. It's both really specific but really broad as well. So like if you differentiate it, it's hard to teach one thing without having someone understand something beforehand. So like if you differentiate it like that, you're gonna have to keep that in mind.
True, good point, guys. Good point. So true. And I find like even as teachers today, like you have to be like mindful of like not just like their learning, but like things that's happening in their lives as well. You're gonna have kids who are having like sex changes and all that kind of stuff. You have to like be mindful of even things that you say. I remember I was in my teaching block and I had a student who had lost one of his parents when he was younger, and we're talking about like family and stuff. And I said like standing up there like everyone has a mom and a dad, and I looked at him like, oh, crap. I should have said that. You know what I mean? Like, we have mom, dad, and grandparents and uncles and stuff. So I think you have to be mindful of that as well when you're doing things like that. Because like you're trying to help them, but at the same time you have to be like mindful that I may say something or do something that I shouldn't be doing.
Just like what Greg said.
Yeah.
About pressing it.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. So going to the document that I posted, you guys can like open it up if you guys have it there. So it's just like a helpful sheet that we can look at a glance. So it has like a definition of DI, different instruction, using it in math. So I found like a resource online that had a really good like ideas in math you could use it as. So teaching the big ideas that I said before, that's a big thing. Prior assessment, make sure that students are assessed properly to kind of know like where they are and like where they want to go. And giving them choice. I think choice is a big thing as well. It's like you can have a sheet with just, okay, this is what you need to do in that. But if you give them multiple choices, to kind of get to the same goal, maybe that's a bit of them. So instead of them presenting something, maybe they can write it out or go on the computer and type it out or something. Kind of help them out in that sense. Some strategies, ensuring that questions are open questions. There's no right or wrong answer with questions. It really like helps them, because kids and even us, we think differently, right? So we're all gonna have a different perception of things, and I think that's a key thing too. And I was reading this thing. It says give the answer and ask a question. So really, like you literally give them the answer in math, and they have to like figure out like what question. Yeah, so kind of like a backwards design, like going backwards is like kind of solve the question. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Something to do with math. Because even growing up, like I never had any of this growing up in math.
It was one teacher telling you what to do.
In this textbook and tests, like I was never the best.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, even when you have your math textbook, the answers are in the back. And I know myself, the way I was as a student in math, and for questions we didn't have to show our work, I would just go to the back of the textbook. But for questions you need to show your work, having that answer available to know what you have to achieve, so if you do it wrong and you get the wrong answer, you're not satisfied with the wrong answer.
Yeah. And I always like, I guess I didn't like having like the questions with just like one answer. Like I like the questions like in math class where it's like an open question. I wish there was more of that when I was in school, because it opens up for like I worried about getting it wrong, and then and also those questions in math. There's the parallel tasks, which ties into differentiated instructions. Because if they don't get it one way, they can do it another way. And also, a student already did it one way, and you don't just want them sitting there. They can do it again in a different way. Yeah. So the parallel tasks come in like that.
Yeah, like I think what we did on Tuesday with like the rich tasks and like having people like use like real life experience to make up parts of the question like helps a lot. And it's like it makes it so that like you're always thinking and you're not just figuring out what the formula is and like how to do the math, but you're actually doing things that are more related to real life.
Even to build off that, what Pat did in class with making all the questions geared towards people in our class, like name wise, that's also a big thing when making it a real life scenario. Use students' names and try to tailor, like when she gave the example of a student that she had in the past that was a swimmer. So she tailored a question about swimming to that student, right?
Yeah, I think the more
Good job, Pat.
you can make math, I mean, just think about just think about yourself in grade 5 and what would make you, appeal to math. What kinds of activities do you want to learn, right? And it's not the ones where they said, "Here's your sheet of paper, do math problems." I mean, unless you're really doing that. I mean, most people like textiles or things that involve current events, like the Olympics. Doing like in my placement class, I had them do an Olympic medals tally.
and they loved that. Like we did bar graphing. It was sweet.
Nice. Yeah. So true. Because I did a quote I saw the other day. I think it was this morning on Instagram. It said like, be the person you wanted to be when you were in, like, I think grade 4, grade 5. Like, just kind of being that person. Like, think of like you being in their shoes right now. Like, how would they want to be taught? Would they want to be? See things. Kind of put your mind back in that grade 4, grade 5 mentality and see, okay, I didn't like this, but I love this. So try to be like that kind of teacher as well too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're coming to the end. You guys have any comments or questions or concerns? What do you wonder about? Keith, what's on your mind?
No, yeah, I think it's good to like get the students involved. I think it's just gonna come with practice, right? Like the more we do it, the better we're gonna become at it. But it's gonna take some time at first.
Yeah, differentiated instruction requires that your personally, personal level to some degree.
If we never if we haven't met our students, it's really hard to like talk about it in theory. Like we really have to like actually see students, see how they respond to like all the different ways we can get them to learn and what they're good at and what they're bad at. And I think that's like the most important part, like playing off of what your students do and like what they're good at and what they're bad at.
Yeah, agreed. Greg, Anthony, anything?
I really like open-ended questions in math. That's just one point I have that we could all use a lot in our placement, because like turning around the question, like giving the answer, like how we talked about before, similarities and differences, stuff like that. Making the students have to think. Oh, Greg left the call. And getting the students to express their thoughts in terms of the math is very beneficial to their learning. So we should keep that up. Also, edgy gains. EDUGAI.
Promo. Free promo. Yeah.
That's a solid ad read right there.
All right, well, guys, thanks for a great webinar. Thanks for coming on time.
Thanks for having me.
Greg showed up. Okay. Never mind. No, but seriously. Yeah, good job, guys. Well done. Love you.
Good job. Hey, Nick. Nick.
Yeah?
Look over here.
Feedback first.